Hi everyone, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley Mesha. This is Collective Coffee. We're gonna talk about what is he called now? RFK Jr. What is that? Robert Kennedy? Who Trump has named as the HHS Health and Human Services Secretary? This just came up on my FYP, and we're going to talk about it.
Autism destroys families.
I'm not going to listen to this guy.
More importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children. These are...
Okay, let's stop it there. Our greatest resource is children. Okay, I mean, we should back up and talk about how autism ruins families. What did he say?
Autism destroys families. More importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are...
It destroys our greatest resource, which is children. What does that mean? Why are children a resource to you? The greatest resource? Because you traffic them and sell them for their organs and for sex, or something else? Labor? Because didn't we just roll back a whole lot of... Not we, I wasn't a part of that. Didn't they just roll back a whole lot of labor laws for children? Aren't we finding enslaved children in this country? Greatest resources, children. Okay, that's red flag number 2. Because autism doesn't ruin families.
Children. These are children who should not be suffering like this. These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because...
Okay, he said many of them were fully functional and then regressed
of some environmental exposure.
Because of some environmental exposure
into autism when they're 2 years old.
When they're 2 years old. That is incredibly specific and also not at all. He is putting a really large generalization on autistic kids and people. That's not true at all. Babies up until 2 years old don't really have fine motor skill milestones. So autism is often undetected because they're still super baby, first and foremost. I didn't start having, I don't know, maybe it was around like 2. I'm an autistic mother. I'm autistic, and my son is also autistic.
And these are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have to recognize we are doing this to our children. I don't know our...
Okay, then this guy takes over. Apparently, according to this guy, Dr. Rubin, who I'm still not... He's still calling autism a disorder, but he's like judging RFK for saying that autism is a disease, environmental disease. Alright, first of all, I'm autistic. I was never diagnosed autistic. I was diagnosed bipolar, schizophrenic, what was the other? Some other shit. But I've never been diagnosed bipolar, or not, that's not true. That was the first diagnosis. I've never been diagnosed autistic. It wasn't until my son was going through this process and I was researching about it to see if that was what was happening that I recognized that I am also autistic. Autism is a spectrum, and this guy says that it's a neurological disorder, which I don't agree with. Remember, as we talk about, I guess this should probably be a dismantling episode versus a collective coffee. Okay, never mind. So this is, hi, welcome back. No, anyway. Um, as we are continuing to diagnose and dismantle this fucking society in which men are trying to stay relevant, I would say, these are predators. The people, these, I mean, they're obviously predators, but like, I don't know where to go with this. Okay. I've played baseball before. I have not one, but two college degrees. I also have my high school diploma. That's 3 degrees. I use the bathroom by myself. I not only have written poems, but I actually have a couple poems published in a couple different places. What else did he say? Oh, I have been on dates. I've also gotten married and left a marriage. I would say, in regards to destroying families, my autism is the reason that I left my family and my marriage. Because the people were assholes. I would say that as autistic folk, we do have large, sweeping necessity for justice, which is not something to be diagnosed. I hate it on this planet. What the fuck is going on? So anyway, they're going for autistic kids. Okay? I'm a little tripped up right now because I'm in this process of getting him diagnosed. And now I waited so long to get his social security card or number until this year. Or was that last year? I guess that was last year. Was that last year or this year? Oh no, that was last year. But I waited because I wanted to make sure I was making the correct decisions for him. And I've also waited on this diagnosis for the same reason. Because Trump, the one thing about that man is when he says something, believe him. He's very honest in his plans. And that's the law of revelation. He tells you exactly what he has intended. And he has talked about autistic folks, and then he also, the other day was talking about mental illness folks. So, I mean, either way, I'm not currently in treatment, but I do have files of mental illness in 2 different states. Well, 3 technically, because I did see someone here in Arizona to get off all of my meds. Anyway, what part of your existence has now become illegal? Tell me in the comments. I'm weirded out with I'm not weirded out because I understand the truth. I see what they're doing to children all over the planet. It doesn't surprise me that they're using language that children are our greatest resource. That's fucking me up. If you didn't watch the hidden messages and media course that I posted, go to that playlist and go to the class about children's media. Again, I think with this administration, when they say something, we need to believe them instead of pretending like they're not telling us exactly what they're gonna do. So this doctor is all concerned that they're gonna go after vaccines and stuff. My son has never been vaccinated. Again, I don't trust these motherfuckers. Anything that they push out. I know a lot of people are gonna think I'm on the right wing with that, but no, I'm an anarchist. I'm anti whatever the fuck these motherfuckers say to do. I'm going to do the opposite for as long as I motherfucking can, okay? I know a little bit too much about the history of the medical field here in the United States, what with my master's degree and also my own personal experiences in hospitals. I have bit a doctor before because of the restraint that I was being put under. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and yeah, they torture you if they think that they can. That's just one thing that I've experienced. Oh my god. Anyway, children are our greatest resource. And disabled children are not valid. So where is this gonna go? I mean, we know where it's gonna go, right? So this is the part of genocide. Classification. So at this point in time, who all has been classified? Gang members, homegrown, autistic people, mentally ill people, trans folks, gay folks, Mexican folks, brown folks, indigenous folks, because they're not smart enough to make distinctions, and also the distinctions were already altogether they're indigenous folks. Oh yeah, Palestinians, the people supporting that, students, professors. That's like 12 people, 12 classifications, and I'm sure I'm missing some. So basically anyone who's not a white rich man is being classified. Do we see that? Okay, identified groups made to stand out from others. That's 2. Remember that the stages of genocide are not linear, because as we're talking about autistic kids, people are already being murdered in El Salvador for being brown. Sure, maybe they had gang affiliations. Remember what we talked about, though, when we talked about the street organizing in New York, that gang is just a bad reputation, connotation word. Those are groups of people who are protecting their community for the most part. I know there's issues here. But at the root of it, it's protecting their community, protecting their own. So instead of just protecting our own, we're deciding to take everyone off the planet. White people are crazy, okay? White rich people are crazy. I come from one of these families. I will keep it so fucking for real with you. There's a reason I have a black sheep here. White people are fucking crazy. Especially because they don't get reprimanded by the system. So they can like do whatever the fuck they want. Literally, you see it all the time. I'm gonna leave this here. I don't think I'm gonna, I don't know. I don't really think it's necessary to move forward with this official diagnosis, because the only thing it's gonna do is get us in for DDD, but I don't want to be at the mercy of this admin. So if you're a parent of a disabled child and you are lenient enough to be able to not participate, I would recommend that. We can still keep doing the services. We don't need, and that's crazy, because that's the appointment that I had to reschedule, and I actually called and left a message. They haven't called me back. And I've been very open and honest with the one woman that I am working with from that medical center about my education as well as my political understanding of this administration. And I have another friend in the medical field here in town, and she's been telling me about some of the things that like the clinics are facing because of grant funding and the pulling back. Like huge percentages, millions and millions of dollars have been taken from local clinics. And like I'm in a small ass town, border town to the res, right? So like of course they're gonna fucking take shit from here. I think Niall's using my shampoo. Hang on. Nile Valley, are you using my shampoo? know better. You know better. Why do you do this? It's so rude. If you have that other soap, you don't need my soap. Anyway. He can bathe himself just fine. Look at my peace sign. Right here. Why is... Oh no, what a weird omen. Do you see it? It's crooked. Why did that happen and how? How did that tack fall out of the wall? That's a message. We are in times of war. Do everything you can to look out for the people that you care about. Because we're all classified. And for those of you staying silent, which I highly doubt you're watching this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Why are you silent? You wanna live in a... You wanna be part robot and be a slave to these fuckers? Okay. For what? Some designer bags and like a couple concerts? Right on!